Hello, my name is Joshua Gardner. My pronouns are he, him, and they, them. This is the presentation I will be giving, Blooming Queer Sober Spaces. As you see, my contact information is listed below if you have any questions and would like to follow up after the presentation, or if you would like to connect for conversation or networking. I certainly welcome that opportunity. I have listed both my email address as well as my Instagram account. If you would like to email me or follow me on Instagram, that would be great. To start this presentation, I want to talk about alcohol addiction and the LGBTQ community. Alcohol addiction is a plague in our community that is destroying queer lives and does not receive enough attention or conversation. According to American Addiction Centers, LGBTQ adults are more than twice as likely as their heterosexual counterparts to use illicit drugs and almost twice as likely to suffer from a substance abuse disorder. Within this project, I want to talk about queer folks, human connection, and safe spaces. The claim I make is that queer folks need safe spaces. Queer folks need human belonging with each other. On this concept of human belonging and human connection, I point to the work of social work scholar Brene Brown, who says, "Connection is why we're here. We are hardwired to connect with others. It's what gives purpose and meaning to our lives, and without it, there is suffering." Beyond that, I state here that not only do queer folks need safe spaces and human belonging with each other to protect us from the world of hate and homophobia that has plagued us for decades and only continues to rise in recent years, we also need a safe space from alcohol and addiction and from the queer communities who constantly promote it. The queer communities that constantly promote it, I'm referring here to the concept, for example, of the bar. The bar has been a refuge for many queer people for decades. The bar has represented a sanctuary of sorts for many LGBTQ folks to congregate, to love, to drink. The bar has been a central fixture for many queer communities, with alcohol being at the heart of these social spaces. However, the bar has not always been the most inclusive, welcoming space for queer people who are non drinkers. Going further, I want to use this project to talk about physical and digital sober and queer spaces that are not the bar, that are spaces for sober people, queer people, drinkers, non drinkers, but spaces that exist as sober spaces, specifically that are queer owned, queer managed, queer embraced. This project will explore three spaces that are providing sober queer communities. It is my goal that this project serve as a means for queer, sober identifying folks to consider the ways in which community can occur in both physical and digital spaces. I am looking at three spaces here. This is certainly not comprehensive or exhaustive. The three that I have chosen them because they have been influential to me personally as a queer sober person. Primarily, I have interacted and with these spaces in digital spaces, primarily through social media on Instagram. As you will notice throughout my discussion, though, some of these spaces are physical spaces, some are digital only spaces, and some have both physical and digital components to them. The three that I am examining in this project are the Craft Castle, which is a physical art studio space, an Instagram account called Sober Babes Club, and a nonprofit organization that I came across through Instagram, but as you will see, has multiple opportunities for connection, for networking, and for resources, which is Sober Black Girls Club. The first I want to talk about is the Craft Castle. So the Craft Castle is, as it states on the website, a queer sober owned business, and it is a new arts and crafts studio on the avenue in Hampton. This is in Baltimore. It gives you some suggestions there of what, or it gives you an idea of what this business is here. Participants are able to reserve a desk, a session, to access art supplies, crafting tools, and enjoy the therapeutic benefits of making art. It lists some of the types of things here from the website of what one can do in this art studio space where folks can go to make, to create in a sober, queer owned environment where community is made, where alcohol is not at the center, and where you can do a number of these fun, soul enriching things. On the next page here, I've got a little more on the Craft Castle to further show the impact this physical space has, this business, I should say here, this queer-owned business, because it is a queer-owned business. Not only that has not only drinkers and non-drinkers. The Craft Castle's website further explains that it is an alcohol-free studio space here to show folks a wholesome good time with classic healthy coping mechanisms. Making art and community while drinking some tea. The owner says here, I dare anyone's therapist not to be proud. And here we see the owner of the Craft Castle here. Oh, excuse me for that slide back. And this should say here in this sentence, to further show the impact this physical space has not only on... Oh, I see now. Okay. Forgive my error there. I'm going to keep rolling with this. On the next point of discussion, this Instagram account, Sober Babes Club. Sober Babes Club is an Instagram page, and as you see there, as you see on this slide, you've got four people who have posted to Sober Babes Club. And as noted on their Instagram bio, the purpose of their page is making sobriety cute and cool, one sober babe at a time. Live clean, loud, and proud. And we have the multitude of rainbow hearts here. As you see on this slide and the next slide that I will turn to, we see all these photos, okay? All these photos that are coming straight from Instagram post submissions to the Instagram site. I say here, the Instagram account allows users who are mostly queer identified, as they share in their bios, to submit their photo and a statement of celebration for their sobriety. Within the post, the user may share how long they are celebrating sobriety, whether that be days, weeks, months, years, and what sobriety has meant to them. The users often share resources, providing community. This provides that sense of a digital community because the users often share these resources that have worked well for them as they have navigated their sobriety. Often the user will share projects that they are involved in themselves, maybe work that they have begun, organizations they have begun, types of other projects or businesses that they are involved with, and how others can be a part of it and support them as queer sober folks that they're involved in, whether these are podcasts, digital or physical meetups, different programs, etc. Just a really great digital resource that puts queer sober folks in conversation, communication with each other. Sober Black Girls Club is the last physical and digital space community resource that I want to talk about. As I said from the beginning, I found Sober Black Girls Club through their Instagram page. And as it states on their Instagram bio, Sober Black Girls Club is a nonprofit organization whose purpose is to provide support for Black girls, women, femmes, and non-binary folks considering beautiful, sober lives. When you go to their website, you will see how, first of all, they have active social media presence across all major social media platforms. Very active, very routine, recordings of videos, conversation starters across Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc. They also have a lot of other resources too, beyond just that digital presence on social media. They have a private Facebook group that one can join. They have different online meetings. They have a podcast and they have a mentorship program. And all of the images that I have included here from the Craft Castle, from Sober Bates Club, and from Sober Black Girls Club all have come directly from their Instagram pages. So we can see here how this is just another type of resource where sober queer folks are able to go and have these types of physical, digital spaces and communities with each other that go beyond the bar. Okay, go beyond places that are so alcohol centered, that have missions that are directly related to sobriety and or to queer representation. And finally, I've listed my works cited here. I will go back to the main page to end my presentation. Again, my name is Joshua Gardner. I am at East Carolina University. Please feel free to reach out to me at any point. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great conference.